Just keeping a close eye on how the US futures and how the European markets are actually reacting to the news flow coming in. And finally, some official comments coming in from China saying that they're ready to pretty much sit across the table. They're saying they're open to talks if Trump shows respect. They want Trump to rein in the cabinet members, show some consistency. They want US talks to address concerns on Taiwan and sanctions as well. Richard Harris joins in on the show right now to talk about exactly that. Richard, finally seems that China is willing to talk, sit across the table, though it seems like it's going to be a hard bargain. I mean, they want everything from sanctions to Taiwan to be talked about.
Well, that's right. I mean, China has taken very much a standoff position, and you can see why, because they don't want to be seen to be bullied by Trump, although many other countries appear to be willing to do so. But China will not. So, but I think obviously discussion is sensible. The Chinese, in many ways, are looking much more like the adults in the room than the Americans at the moment, with decisions being changed every few minutes, according to the whim of one man. So have started to show a little bit of statesmanship in terms of saying, yes, we'll come to the table. But of course, they too have their own constituency and their face as well. And they don't want to be giving up or be seen to be giving up without anything on the other side. So I think what the Chinese are looking at doing is saying, yes, we'll come to the table, but we want to come with respect. We want a number of our discussions made that we have already been talking about in the past. And that's basically how it's going to be.
Well, certainly for now, Richard, what we are seeing is a positive reaction, at least on the Dow Jones futures. But help us understand that in the short term, how do you see the markets reacting when it comes to some of the emerging markets? How will they share this news, as well as what could be the likely impact on the US markets when they open today?
Well, I think any form of discussion is going to be a positive thing, but don't forget that we've been seeing changes quite dramatically. We honestly don't know how Trump is going to react to this. Now, we know that he does take the form of a bully, which is when somebody stands up to him, he generally backs down. So he may take a rather aggressive view, or he may take one where he's saying, well, I'm quite happy to go along with some of these things, but maybe not all of them. And there'll be some negotiation there. So I think at the moment we don't really know, but my general feeling is that it's positive. The two sides have to meet, they have to talk. They will have negotiations about how they're going to have negotiations. And I think we're at that stage at the moment. And on balance, it's positive.
All right, but that's about the equity markets. But Richard, what we are seeing of late is that there's been no stopping in the gold prices touching an all-time high level day in and day out. And other than that, on the other side, it's crude that is falling down on the back of the risk related to the global growth slowdown. Help us understand that if the news flow is on the incremental side, can we expect the reverse reactions in both of these commodities?
Well, I don't think we're likely to see a reversal in news anytime soon. Yes, Trump is delaying tariffs. Yes, he tends to water down quite dramatically a lot of his initial pronouncements. But, we're not out of the woods. The direction of travel is more tariffs. It's likely to happen. What we haven't seen so far is the kind of economic indicators coming out that we would expect in this sort of situation. So, for instance, we've seen very good Chinese growth. We've seen good growth in the UK. Everybody has been front-loading their economic growth ahead of tariffs. What we haven't seen is the kind of decline that we would generally expect in this sort of environment.
Sure. Richard, but where is this headed? And do you think this 90-day period leniency that we've heard from the Trump administration on tariffs, could that be taken as a signal of a policy U-turn by any chance? Because it's really not resolving the debt crisis, given the way the bond markets have been reacting.
Well, Trump has made so many U-turns, he must be spinning in his head, as many of us would probably think is the case. It's difficult to say. 90 days is a long way away. Remember, we had quite a long time to wait before 2nd of April, and things can change a lot in that time. So I wouldn't put a lot of store on the 90 days. I think we are going to see bilateral deals occurring between various countries. But what we're still talking about is tariffs being imposed that weren't imposed, say, 12 months ago. This generally cannot be good for trade. We know that supply chains are basically frozen in many areas and in many businesses. We're hearing about Chinese companies with massive inventories, even looking to discard cargoes or trying to divert them to other places. So 90 days is a long way away, but I think a great deal of damage has been done that at the moment is irreparable.
We let you go on that note. Really appreciate you taking the time out and speaking with us on the big breaking that we are picking up with respect to the US as well as China, that now maybe China is open and looking forward to go ahead and be on the table for some talks. Thank you so much, Richard, for joining us today.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.